Today we will talk about the variation. What the variation is and what are the causes of variation. Variation simply means it is the differences or dissimilarities in characteristics. The characteristics may be morphological characteristics, physiological characteristics, cytological characteristics, and behavioristic characteristics. And these differences exist between the offsprings of the same parent, or these differences, dissimilarities exist among the individuals of the same species. So how we can define the variation? Variation simply means these are differences. These are differences, dissimilarities. These are differences or dissimilarities between the offsprings of the same parent, or these are differences amongst the individuals of the same species. Differences amongst the individuals of the same species. So this is what is called as variation. For example, we have a population of plants. These plants belong to same species. So these individuals, these plants are different from one another. So we can say that this is a variation. Or we have got individuals, for example, these are the humans. These are three individuals which belong to same species, that is Homo sapiens, but they are different. So this difference is called as variation. So this difference is called as variation. That means variation simply means that these are the differences which exist amongst the individuals of the same species, or we can say that these are the differences which we observe in the offsprings of the same parent. These differences, can be morphological, they can be cytological, they can be behavioristic, they can be physiological. Differences can exist among the individuals of the same species or offsprings of the same parent. And now, what are the causes of this variation? This variation is observed. Genetic variation is observed in sexually reproducing organisms. So this is observed in sexually reproducing organisms. The variation is observed in sexually reproducing organisms. In case of asexual reproduction or vegetative propagation, the individuals, they are identical to their parents, what are called as clones. So in case of this in case of sexual reproduction, there is a variation, and this variation is and the genetic variation is mainly found in sexually reproducing organisms. Now, what are the causes of the variation? Causes of variation. What are the important causes of the variation? Some of the important causes of variation are, we have crossing over and recombination. Crossing over and recombination. This is one cause for the variation. Another reason for the genetic variation is mutation. Third one is random fusion of gametes. Random fusion of gametes. Then another reason for the genetic variation is independent assortment of genes. Independent assortment of genes. So first if we'll talk about the crossing over. And recombination. This crossing over, what we call as recombination, it occurs between the homologous chromosomes during meiosis. So this crossing over recombination, it occurs between the homologous chromosomes during meiosis. It occurs between homologous chromosomes. It occurs between homologous chromosomes during meiosis. And this crossing over and recombination, it is simply called as, exchange of genes. It is simply the exchange of genes, and this crossing over and recombination, it results in the reshuffling of alleles within the offspring. So we call it is crossing over and recombination is called exchange of genes. Exchange of genes. And this crossing or recombination, it results in the reshuffling of alleles within the offspring. Then we have got another mutation. Mutation is simply the change in the nucleotide sequence of a DNA, or we can say that it is the alteration in the genetic material of an organism. It is an alteration in genetic material of an organism. It is an alteration in the genetic material of an organism. It is the change in the nucleotide sequence of DNA, and this mutation, it is responsible, it creates new combination of alleles within the population, and this mutation, it is responsible for the creation of new alleles within the population. Then we have got another third, random fusion of gametes. Random fusion of gametes. Random fusion of gametes simply means it is a matter of chance which gamete will fuse to which gamete, which male gamete will fuse to which female gamete is simply a matter of chance, and this is called as random fertilization. For example, we have male and female partners, and they are capable of producing, for example, we have male and female partners, they are capable of producing 1 million potential gametes. Which sperm cell will fuse to which egg cell is matter of chance. This matter of chance, this fusion of gametes, this is random, so we call it random fusion of gametes. It cannot be predicted which sperm cell will fuse to which egg cell, and their fusion is simply the random process. Their fusion is simply a matter of chance. This is simply called as random fusion of gametes. Then we have got independent assortment of genes. Independent assortment of genes. Independent assortment of genes. Independent assortment of genes states that there are different traits, they are passed independently of one another from parents to offsprings. That means the transmission of traits from parents to offsprings occurs independently of one another. So this independent assortment of genes states that the genes for different traits, they are passed from parents to offsprings independently of one another. These the genes of one character, it does not have any connection with the genes of the other character, or we can say during the transmission process, or we can say that the characters, if we have got two characteristics, one character will pass on from parents to offsprings independently of the another character. So the transmission of characters, the transmission of genes which control the different traits, they are passed from parents to offsprings independently of one another. So the transmission of independent assortment of genes is that the transmission of traits from parents to offsprings is independently of one another. So transmission of characters or traits from parents to offsprings is independent of one another. So this was regarding the what is variation and what are the causes of the variation. In the next topic we will talk about the importance of the variation. Thank you so much.